Bonjour mes amis, et bienvenue au Pendu dans le Cercle de Lune. Hello friends. If this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for coming. I'm pleased to meet you. If you've been here before, thank you for returning. I'm truly honored. Friends, if you are a returning visitor, you know that this is my series in which I use Tarot de Marseille, Tarot de Marseille adjacent, and antique Italian decks to help me get a more concise, a more crystallized, a distilled message from the larger spread that I read earlier in the week. And the spreads that I'm reading earlier in the week this year, not being 2025, but from 2024 to the middle of this year, because I started around July, I'm in the middle of a deep dive year into the Lenormand system. And so, the larger spread is a Lenormand spread, and to get a little bit of reassurance, a little bit more clarification, I do another spread with a system that I am much more familiar with. And this week, I'm using a very interesting deck. Yeah, I'm sticking with Patrick Valenza's work this lunar cycle. And I have a very interesting deck already picked out for us to use. Well, the spread's already laid, I should say. But before I show you the spread, let me say thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Thank you for doing those things that you do, for hitting the thumbs up button, for subscribing to the channel, for dropping comments in the comment section. All of those things that you do help other people find us. Help our community to grow. And thank you for doing that, for helping other people find us. That's a blessing for all of us, I believe. So thank you. And also, just in case you want a private reading from me, my online tarot shop, I have I do have an email address, but I have a web address and I have a QR code that will appear at the end of this video. So you can either scan the QR code or just type in the web address, derekjohnthomas.com, and you'll find my tarot shop and you can book a reading. Okay? Okay. So, friends, what are we going to do? First, I will show you this week's spread. Then we will talk about the cards. And then I will, with you, break this spread into its two major component parts and we will read them together. Are you all ready, friends? Here's this week's spread. Friends, do you know these decks? Both of them are, at the time of this video, I just checked, they are both available. Yeah, there was one oracle card at the very bottom, right? That is from Mildred Payne's Oracle of Black Enchantment, and it is available right now. I'll have a link in the description box below. The three cards you saw above, they're beautiful, aren't they? They actually might look a little bit better in the photograph than they do in person. That's kind of what I felt, but I still love the way this deck looks. This is the Trionfi della Luna Full Spectrum Edition. And you notice that there's, these are what Patrick Valenza calls the paradoxical versions. They're like photo negatives of the cards, but instead of them all being the same, like sepia on white, or sepia on black, or black on sepia, there's a full spectrum of color palette, not on each card, but throughout the deck. So, one card is dark, burnt sienna on sienna, for example. One of them is burnt umber on umber, maybe. One of them is indigo on blue, right? Just a lovely, lovely way to create a deck. And I think it adds a lot of interest when we see the cards on the table. and maybe even a little bit of help. So, the 3 cards above are from a tarot deck, I told you, yes, and we're going to read these as I would read a Tarot de Marseille, standard. Yeah, it's a non-positional, and I'll tell you why and how I'm reading the cards in just a moment. And then the oracle card beneath will just add some more information, clarity, or maybe an extra bit of advice. Yes? So friends, what are we going to do? Let me show you the 3 tarot cards above, and let's start reading those babies together. Here they are. So friends, you saw from left to right, we had the Page of Coins, the 4 of Coins, and the 5 of Cups. Now remember, this is a reaction video, right? A reaction video, not a reaction video, a response video. This video is in response to the Lenormand spread we read earlier this week. And so I highly recommend that if you have not gone to see that video yet, you first go watch that and then come back. Because you will not necessarily understand why I'm reading these cards the way I'm reading them without the context. Because every time we read tarot spreads, we read with a context. There should be a question and a context. That's the only word that's coming to my mind. And the context, based on the question, what is the central message of this week's Lenormand spread, is that spread. And in case you did already see that, let me just remind you that the center of that spread was the Fox card, right? Thinking outside of the box. But we also had indications that we might want to keep our ideas to ourselves. That talking about them to a lot of other people could add confusion and could eat away at the new thing that's developing and growing in our lives and the evolution that we are in the process of what? Evolution that we are in the process of experiencing. Yeah? Yeah, so those things were at play in the Lenormand spread. We also had the idea of the potential for finding our direction, but not by talking to a lot of people, yeah? So what do we have here? We start off in this spread with the Page of Coins, the 4 of Coins, and the 5 of Cups. And you'll notice that the Page of Coins was looking from left to right. So that's the direction we're going to read. If you know me, you know that I read Tarot de Marseille and Tarot de Marseille adjacent Italian decks directionally, which means I look at the faces of the people on the cards and the direction that they're facing. If they're mostly facing to the left, that's the direction we'll read. If they're mostly facing to the left, that's the direction we'll read. If we're mostly facing to the right, that's the direction we'll read. If they're all facing forward, I'll probably read left to right. Does that make sense? So we got the page here. There's the page. The page is looking to the left, chasing after this coin, right? Lovely page. Lovely youthfulness to the page. Lovely coin flying in the air with wings. I love that. Love that the page is chasing after this coin, leaving his, her, or their home. Behind, do you see the castle behind the page? So, leaving the safe space and going out after this new thing. And what does the Page of Coins mean to us? Well, the Page of Coins is the card of ambition, of desire, also diligence, but not the amount of diligence as, for example, the Knight of Coins, but there is a diligence to this youthful page. The page cherishes his, her, or their body. They plan for, and they lay out the foundations for their future. But it's just the beginnings, right? And they're on a practical endeavor. They're not just going off on flights of fancy. They're working on and planning for and laying the foundations for something real, tangible in their lives, in the future. And their untapped potentials are within reach. Look at that page, reaching for that coin. It's like that. Their potential is there. They can see it. It's tangible. It's right there for them to grasp. Success is also tangible. And they have a solid material base for their future advancement, their future expansion. Yes? Which is basically where we have been coming with the Lenormand spreads over the last few weeks. But you'll notice that the first thing that page was running into was this card, the Four of Coins. Beautiful card, yes? You see the shield there, but okay, so it's an orange color, which is a movement closer to the hot side of the spread rather than the cool side of the color spectrum, right? Yellows are generally considered a cool color. Orange is warm, very warm, and red is hot. Yellow is actually considered the cool side of the spectrum. So we've got this lightly cool page running into the fire of this orangish card up here, right? But the orangish card here of the fire is a stable number. It's the 4. So what is with the shield? Love the shield there in the center. What is the Four of Coins? It's conservation, like forest conservation, conservation of nature, conservation of wildlife, right? That kind of conservation. Creating security, frugality, right? Maintaining their security and stability. Could be stability at home, could be stability of health, could be stability of their territory, their finances. And order is assured, but not letting their assets stagnate. There is an environment of stability with a natural flow, an ecological flow, right? If anything in nature stays in one place, does not move, does not allow things to flow through them, we achieve stagnation and death, right? For things to be alive and healthy, even trees, we think trees don't move. They move in the air, but also nutrients flow through them, right? If the nutrients are not allowed to leave, like the leaves on a tree, are not allowed to leave, no new nutrients can come in, and so the tree will start to die. Right? There are also the idea of traditions here and honor and reputation. But this page, who's got a foundation, is planning for the future, has ambition, has desire to move forward, runs into this shield of the 4, right? Runs smack into this practical wall of conservatism, security, frugality, maintaining security. You be careful. Which is, I think, part of what we saw in that spread with those other people, and the talking with other people are that interaction is what causes us to give so much attention to be careful, be sure, don't do anything stupid, don't do anything crazy, don't do anything new. Yes? Does that make sense? And that stands in the way of this Five of Cups. Beautiful Five of Cups. Very cool color. Very watery color too. What is the five? Fives allow us to break free and break out of the box of the fours. And so the five being of cups, it's an emotional breakout, right? An emotional breakthrough. It's exploring our emotions. It's emotional transitions as well. Now, emotionally, being able to move forward and move over the obstacles. Having new feelings. Maybe excitement over something. Faith. Having faith in ourselves and in the things that we care about. And it carries us towards a higher being or someone or something that we can see and touch. It moves us forward towards the tangible, not up into flights of fancy, but this faith moves us towards the thing that we've placed vibrationally on our powerful current of intention. Because that's the way we live our lives intentionally, right? We imagine the lives we want to live and those experiences we want to have, the jobs, the relationships, the houses, the vacations, the money, the experiences. We place them vibrationally on the current of our intention. And we open up to that power of intention and we evolve into the people who have those experiences as those experiences are drawn towards us. So that idea of faith in our evolution is also here in the five. We could also become the center of a group. We can have links to other people, popularity, but I don't think that's what we're talking about here. Now, relations with many people I don't think are what we're talking about, or relying on our network for advancement or assistance. I don't think that's what we're talking about here. We have our hearts open to solutions. That could be for the greater good of the people around us, but we don't want to get tied up in them because, remember, from the Lenormand Spread we read, it's that interaction that causes confusion. With the clouds card, right? So the page runs into this wall of conservatism trying to move in the direction of the exploration of their emotions and having faith in their ability to attain the thing that they are envisioning. So this spread, I think, is the cautionary tale from the Lenormand Spread we read. Yeah? That we are the page. We're moving. We want to leave. We want to move outside of the... Oh, it's not there anymore. We want to move outside of the security of the castle and move in the direction of this new thing. With our ambition, with our desire. This new practical thing. But we keep running into this wall of this shield, protective shield of security. But we want to move past that to find and explore our emotions and discover our new feelings and find our faith in our ability to do that thing that we are chasing and to achieve that thing that we're chasing. And we want to maybe put aside the fear that we're chasing after it and rather know that we are and have faith that we're moving in the direction of its manifestation. Yes? Does that make sense? Now we've got an oracle card below, if you recall, one big honking oracle card. Let me show you that oracle card once more. And let's see what that tells us, okay? So here's that oracle card. Friends, isn't that a fascinating card? This oracle deck is interesting. It's big, it's a little chunky. I mean, the cards are large. It's not chunky like thick. It's not a hugely thick deck, although there are plenty of cards in the deck. I think there are over 50. But you need to have large hands if you like to riffle shuffle this deck, although shuffling on the side is probably okay. The cards are flexible, they're durable. It's all of Patrick Valenza's work is just fabulous, I think. So, this card you see here. The title is Spilled Secrets. And what do you see here? Let me describe the situation we're seeing, according to Patrick Valenza. Skeletal pallbearers drop the black coffin they were carrying on the way to the gravesite, exposing the body of a murdered woman. Yeah? This lady that you see there, do you see that she's naked, but it looks like there's a rope around her neck, and it looks like her arms have been tied at the wrists. Do you see that? We see that we're in a graveyard, right? There are clouds above. We got the moon kind of, looks like the moon is vibrating almost. And we have 4 pallbearers. Love the skull and the wings on the coffin. But yeah, this woman has slid out of her coffin. What does this tell us? Well, there's a dark meaning and a light meaning to each of these cards. And because we're not reading these cards directionally necessarily, we're going to look at the light meaning. The light meaning, according to Patrick Valenza, is evil deeds finally uncovered for all the world to see, revealing the truth. Which is interesting because I think that's reflective of the mice card that we saw in the Lenormand Spread. Yeah? That our interaction with other people has been what's eating away at the new thing that we are trying to, or that we are nurturing, that we are nourishing, that we are growing in our lives, in our experiences, and that we hope will mature. But our interactions with people in relationship to this thing have been what is eating away at it, and now that's being revealed, I think. And what's being revealed is that eating away has been that block of the 4 of coins. Yeah? It's what's been drawing us back to, no, you don't do that new thing. You know, my Uncle George tried that new thing and he fell in a pit. Or my Uncle Sam tried that new thing and he lost all of his money and now he lives under a bridge. Don't do that. Right? Be safe, be secure, don't break out of the box. But that caution, which is, I'm sure, 99.999% for our protection, they're saying these things to keep us safe and healthy and sound. They're saying these things for all of the best intentions possible, probably, and still, that is the wrong thing. That is the evil that is being done to kill the new in our lives. That our desire and our diligence even wants us to move in the direction of. So again, don't talk to other people about what you want to do, what you are doing, until you are 100% secure and sure in what is happening, what you are accomplishing, what you can do, and the way you want to do it. And that you know that no matter what anybody else says, you have faith. 5 of Cups, faith in yourself and what you're doing. And you've explored your emotions and you're secure now. Does that make sense? If it does, let me know in the comments below. If it does not, let me know in the comments below. How would you read this spread? Especially as it refers to the Lenormand spread that we read earlier this week. How would you read this spread? So friends, thank you. Thank you for joining me on this journey. And now, as always, I wish you love, joy, well-being, and pure awareness. Thank you.